"Wait, what's your name?" he asked, breathless, but she was already slipping on her dress, mascara smudged, heels in hand. "Does it matter?" she said with a wink, vanishing into the smoky blur of the after-party. Jace Warren, billionaire heir, scandal magnate, and LA's most untouchable playboy, had just hooked up with the most mesmerizing woman he'd ever met. She was fire. Thick braids, warm brown skin, and eyes full of secrets. But she ghosted him before he could even ask for her number. Fast forward 3 months. The Warren estate buzzed with drama as usual. Jace had just gotten back from Ibiza, half hungover, dodging paparazzi and his father's constant threats to cut him off. That's when the new maid arrived. Her name was Noelle. Same full lips, same sharp stare, same mysterious vibe. But this time, she was in a uniform, scrubbing the marble floors of the Warren mansion like she'd been doing it her whole life. Jace froze in the hallway. No, it can't be. Noelle kept her head down. He cornered her in the garden that night. "You were at that party. You left before I clean toilets now," she snapped. "Don't get it twisted." Jace couldn't breathe. And then he noticed something. A gentle swell under her shirt. Noelle was pregnant. His mind spiraled. Was it his? Why was she here? Why didn't she tell him? "I work here now. That's it," she said coldly, walking away before he could ask more. And just like that, the game began. But Jace wasn't ready for what Noelle was hiding, and she wasn't ready for the storm that was coming. Next door, Mr. Warren stood in his office watching old tapes. One of them showed Noelle, years ago, sneaking through the halls in the middle of the night. Jace receives an anonymous message. She's not who she says she is. Jace couldn't sleep. The message replayed in his head. She's not who she says she is. No sender, no explanation. He pulled up the security logs. Noelle had been hired a week ago. Background check, clean, but something felt off. Why was she so cold? Why wouldn't she tell him if the baby was his? Meanwhile, Noelle was scrubbing his father's study. Behind locked doors, hidden cameras, piles of old documents. She found it again, the red folder. She didn't take it yet, but she would. Soon. Jace caught her leaving the study. "You're not allowed in there," he said. She looked him dead in the eye. "Then fire me." But he didn't. He couldn't. Every day, Jace watched her from the shadows. Every day, Noelle got bolder. One night, he followed her. She met with someone in the alley behind the estate, a woman in a hoodie. "You get it yet?" the woman asked. "Almost," Noelle replied. "The will's buried under layers of fake filings. I just need more time." The next morning, Jace confronted her. "You're not here to clean. Who are you working for?" Noelle just laughed. "You think you know everything because your daddy's rich. Stay in your lane, Jace." She walked away, but he caught her wrist. "I need to know if that baby's mine." "You'll know when I'm ready." But someone else was watching them. From the top floor window, Mr. Warren's assistant snapped a photo and sent it to the family lawyer. Noelle receives a text. "Abort mission. He's on to you." The pressure was mounting. Noelle's contact had gone dark. Her phone was bugged. Cameras followed her every step now. Mr. Warren didn't say anything, but she could feel it. The air in the mansion was electric, like a storm about to hit. Jace was torn. He didn't trust her, but he couldn't stay away. She was fire and he was gasoline. One night, he slipped into her room. "You have to tell me the truth." Noelle turned to him, eyes soft for the first time. "I can't," she whispered. "If I do, it'll destroy everything." "Is it my baby?" Her lip trembled. "Yes." Jace staggered back. "Then why lie? Why hide?" She grabbed his hand. "Because this family is built on lies, and if I don't finish what I started, you'll never know the truth." "What truth?" She hesitated. But before she could speak, the door burst open. Mr. Warren stood there, face stone cold. "What the hell is going on in here?" Jace stepped forward. "It's not what it looks like." But it was, and Mr. Warren knew it. "You're fired," he told Noelle, effective immediately. She clenched her fists, eyes blazing. "You can't stop this," she said, voice low. "It's already in motion." Mr. Warren looked her over one last time. "I should have shut you down when I had the chance." As she packs to leave, Noelle finds a hidden letter addressed to her, from Jace's mother, who died 10 years ago. The letter shook in Noelle's hands. "If you're reading this, then you found what I hid. My son doesn't know, but one day he must. Cassandra Warren, Jace's mother." Noelle's breath caught. She wasn't just some random girl. She'd been placed in this house years ago by Cassandra to find the real will, the one that left everything to someone else. Not Jace, not Mr. Warren, but to her. She wasn't just the maid. She was the secret heir, a child from Cassandra's teenage past, hidden, protected. Noelle was her firstborn. The pregnancy was a coincidence, but fate, that was another story. She returned to the mansion, not to beg, to claim. Jace was stunned. My mom, she knew you? She knew I existed, and she knew your father was erasing her legacy. I was her backup plan. Mr. Warren went pale. You're lying. Check the handwriting, the seal, the date. Jace picked up the letter. His hands trembled. You're my sister, he whispered, horrified. Noelle shook her head. Half-sister, but no, that baby's yours. Mr. Warren lunged at her, but she was ready. She pulled out her phone, live streaming to her lawyer. Touch me, and the world sees everything. Jace gets a call from the bank. All the accounts under his name have just been frozen. Your account's been frozen, Mr. Warren, the banker repeated. Jace's voice cracked. All of them? Yes, sir. Court injunction. New heir claims tied to Cassandra Warren's will. He hung up, heart racing. Noelle stood in the hall like a storm cloud in silk. You wanted the truth? This is it. He couldn't process it. His life, his money, his identity, all slipping through his fingers. Mr. Warren wasn't taking it well either. You think I'll let you steal everything I built? He barked. I'm not stealing, Noelle snapped. I'm reclaiming what was already mine. Lawyers arrived that afternoon. 2 sets, one for Noelle, one for Mr. Warren. The mansion turned into a war zone, but Jace couldn't stay away. He cornered her in the rose garden. Why didn't you tell me sooner? I didn't trust you. That night at the party, was it all fake? Her eyes welled up. That was real. The rest? Complicated. He reached for her. She flinched. I'm not just fighting for me anymore, she said, hand on her stomach. I'm fighting for him. Is he really mine? Yes. Then let me help you. She stared at him, unsure. But before she could answer, a glass shattered in the house. They ran inside. Mr. Warren had destroyed his late wife's portrait, pieces of the frame slicing his hand. She ruined everything. Now you're ruining everything. Blood dripped from his fingers. I covered for you, he hissed at Noelle. I knew who you were the minute you walked in that door. But I let you stay, out of guilt. Guilt? She asked. He grinned, wild and shaking. Because I killed Cassandra. The room went silent. You're bluffing, Jace whispered. She was going to give it all to her. I had to stop her, and now I'll stop both of you. Noelle secretly records his confession, but before she can send it to her lawyer, someone steals her phone. The phone was gone. Noelle tore her room apart, panic surging through her like wildfire. That recording, her only proof that Mr. Warren had killed his wife, had vanished. She ran to Jace's room. Someone took my phone. It had his confession. His eyes widened. When? 10 minutes ago. I stepped into the bathroom. It was right on the dresser. They searched every inch of the house. Nothing. Security tapes, wiped, backups, gone. I don't get it, Jace muttered. How did he move so fast? He didn't, Noelle said slowly. They both turned. Standing at the top of the stairs was Elise, Jace's ex-girlfriend. Blonde, cold, and very, very jealous. She held up Noelle's phone, smiling like a devil in designer heels. Looking for this? Elise, what the hell? Jace yelled. Oh, please, you think I didn't notice your little maid problem? She was cleaning my bedroom before she crawled into yours. I don't care what you think. Give it back, she laughed. I saw the video, so juicy, but if you want it back. She tossed it in the air. You're gonna have to beg. Noelle lunged, but Elise stepped back. You want this? You'll make a public statement. Say you made it all up. The will, the confession, the baby, Jace's little publicity stunt. Noelle's heart pounded. Jace looked at her. Don't do it. We'll find another way. But then Elise leaned in and whispered, You make this go away, and I'll delete the video. Otherwise, I send it to TMZ. You'll never have a quiet life again. Noelle stared at her, and then, quietly, she said, Too late. Noelle opens her laptop. She already uploaded the video to the cloud and scheduled it to release in 24 hours. 24 hours, that's all they had. The video was scheduled to upload at 10 a.m. the next morning. But now Elise, and maybe others, were trying to stop it. Jace and Noelle worked through the night, locking passwords, backing up files, and calling every contact they trusted. But trust was thin in a house this rotten. At 3 a.m., someone tried to cut the power. At 5 a.m., the Wi-Fi mysteriously died. We're being hunted, Jace said. Let them come, Noelle replied. We're ready. At dawn, Mr. Warren stormed into the foyer. This circus ends today. He held a printed copy of a new will. This one overrides Cassandra's, dated 2 weeks before her death. That's fake, Noelle growled. Prove it, he smiled. I already did. 10 minutes to go. Noelle clutched her laptop, Jace by her side. The staff gathered, rumors swirling. Mr. Warren held out a deal. Take a settlement, $10 million, disappear, or face years in court. Noelle stared him down. I'd rather be broke and free than rich and gagged. 3 minutes. Elise came running down the stairs. She posted it. It's already gone live. Everyone scrambled to their phones. The video played, Mr. Warren's full confession, crystal clear. By 10:05, it had 500,000 views. By 10:10, news trucks were outside. By 10:15, the police were at the door. Mr. Warren is arrested, but as he's led away, he turns to Jace and says, You really think she's not lying to you too? The trial was fast-tracked. Murder, fraud, will tampering, Mr. Warren's empire crumbled overnight. But even with victory close, the war wasn't over. Strangers harassed Noelle. Reporters camped outside. Rumors flew. Was the baby really Jace's? Did Noelle fake the video? Even Jace struggled. You are telling me everything, right? He asked one night. She froze. There's one thing I haven't said. His face darkened. What? I didn't just come to find the will. I came because Cassandra told me to destroy this family, all of it. What? She said the Warrens took everything from her and from me. She wanted revenge. And now? Noelle looked down at her belly. Now I don't want revenge, I want peace, but it's not that simple. Jace pulled away, hurt. You were using me. I didn't plan to, but then I fell for you. That sounds fake now. Before she could answer, a brick smashed through the window, a note attached. Get out, or else. The baby's heartbeat monitor flatlines, and Noelle collapses. Noelle, stay with me, please, Jace shouted, cradling her in his arms. Blood pooled beneath her, sirens in the distance, her eyes fluttered. Don't let them win, she whispered. At the hospital, everything was chaos. Nurses shouting, doctors pushing him back. He couldn't think, couldn't breathe. Then silence. A doctor finally came out. She's stable, but the stress triggered early labor. The baby's in distress. We're prepping for emergency delivery. Jace collapsed into the chair. A child. His child. A life made from chaos now hanging by a thread. The police called. We found prints on the brick. Elise. Of course, she'd snapped, publicly humiliated, deleted from the will, now dangerous. Jace rushed back to the mansion with officers. Elise was there, pacing in the wine cellar like a trapped animal. You destroyed everything, she screamed when she saw him. You tried to kill her, Jace spat. I tried to protect us, she cried. She's a liar. She played you like everyone else. You don't know anything about her. She's a con artist. Cassandra didn't write that will. You think she just shows up pregnant and suddenly she's the heir? Jace's fists clenched. I saw the DNA results, Elise hissed. Cassandra was dying. You think she didn't make mistakes? Stop talking, he growled. You're making the same one. You don't even know who she really is. That's when the police tackled her. Screaming, thrashing. Back at the hospital, Jace rushed in as a nurse appeared. She's asking for you. He stepped into the room. Noelle lay pale and trembling, hooked to monitors. Is he? She whispered. Jace smiled, tearfully. He's perfect. He's here. She broke. A sob racked her chest. I thought I lost him. You didn't, he said, holding her hand. You saved him. Noelle is handed a manila envelope. Inside is a second DNA test and a name she never expected. Cassandra Warren is not her mother. Noelle stared at the envelope, heart pounding. She read the DNA report again and again, her hands shaking. Cassandra Warren wasn't her biological mother. She lied to me, she whispered. Jace took the papers. The test says Cassandra took you in at 10. You were already living under a different name. Noelle's mind raced. Flashes of memory she'd buried long ago. A woman's voice, not Cassandra's. A fire. Screams. Jace read further. Your birth mother was a maid. Here. She died in a house fire years ago. Noelle gasped. The Warrens covered it up, claimed she was trespassing. Cassandra adopted you secretly to protect you. She never told me. She tried. That letter, she was going to explain everything. But your father, my father, he stopped her. Noelle sat in stunned silence. She trained me to expose him, she whispered. But she never told me why. Not really. She loved you, Jace said. Maybe not perfectly. But fiercely. And my real mother? She died cleaning for them. Noelle stood slowly, a new fire in her eyes. This house was built on stolen lives. I'm done trying to claim it. Jace stepped closer. Then what do we do now? She looked down at their son. We leave, build something new, something real. He nodded. No more lies, no more secrets. Later that day, Noelle held a press conference. I'm stepping away from the inheritance, but I am starting a foundation for women like my mother, for the forgotten. The media buzzed, praise, outrage, but Noelle didn't care. She was free. As they left the mansion for the last time, baby in her arms, Jace whispered, "We really made it." She smiled. "No, we survived it. Now, we make it." The gates closed behind them, and the Warren estate finally stood silent. Wow, what a ride. If you enjoyed this twist-filled journey, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Stories by Laine for more unforgettable drama and surprises. And before you go, tell us, what would you have done if you were in Noelle's situation? Hit that notification bell so you never miss a story that'll keep you on the edge of your seat. Thanks for watching, and remember, twists you will not see coming await in every chapter.